R. Ashwin has bowled India right back into the first Test match at the Adelaide Oval. Hi, I'm Jatin, and you're watching Jatin's Scorecard. We are witnessing a gripping pink ball Test match at the Adelaide Oval. India have their noses slightly in front, but they could have been in a more dominating position had they not dropped 3 to 4 catches and been sloppy in the field, and also had they not batted recklessly with their bottom order as they did on the morning of day 2. India failed to have any impact with the bat at all this morning, and their lower order just folded up without a fight. I thought that somebody like Saha should have been a little more responsible in his approach. If Saha had stitched together a couple of mini partnerships with Umesh Yadav or Mohammad Shami, for example, India would have been looking at a score of say 280, 290. Without those partnerships, India unfortunately had to settle at 244. The Australians began their innings in a very odd and a very cautious kind of a manner. I think they realized that having spent some time in the field, they realized that the wicket, the pitch is not the easiest to bat on. We spoke yesterday about the pitch having spongy bounce, but in addition to that spongy bounce, it seemed to be a little up and down today as well. A lot of the balls were kind of skidding through a little bit. The other balls had like tennis ball bounce, so it wasn't the easiest wicket to score runs on. The Australians actually started at an average of 2 runs and over. That's completely unheard of from an Australian side. Wade and Burns to me were not convincing at all. I don't think Wade probably has the chops to be opening in Test match cricket. I think the Australians will have to rethink their opener strategy for the next games of the series. The Indian bowling unit got off to a great start. Bumrah was on target from ball 1, and the Indian team management decided to open the bowling with Umesh Yadav. This was a good move according to me, because the pink ball will give you some swing for the first 15-20 overs, and Umesh Yadav has that away going delivery which could be utilized when the shine was on the ball at the start of the innings. Mohammad Shami came in and beat the bat several times during his first spell, but the real hero of the day today for me was R. Ashwin. What we witnessed today was a complete masterclass of spin bowling. We spoke yesterday about how Lyon and Ashwin are two different kind of off spinners, and today was a perfect example of that difference. If Lyon kept a fifth stump line all innings long yesterday, Ashwin was attacking the stumps a lot today. That seemed to be the prime line he was going after. Because Ashwin not only has an off spinner, he has a ball which goes away. He's also got 2 or 3 other weapons which we saw today as well. But for me, his planning and execution was impeccable. He was on the ball from his first delivery, and I'd love to have a look at his pitch map, because you would actually see a cluster of pink dots there. Such was his accuracy. His mind seemed to be whirring all the time in terms of planning for each and every batsman, and the way he got Steve Smith out with a ball which actually beat Steve Smith in the air. It was a ball which he should have got onto the front foot, but it beat him in the air and he had to go in. He tried to play the ball off the back foot, was caught in transit, and it just whizzed off the outside edge into Ajinkya Rahane's hands at slip. This was the big wicket, and this was what I was expecting from Ashwin when I said yesterday that I think Ashwin has a big part to play in this Test match. I think you will see that he will continue to have a big part to play in this Test match in the second innings as well. The Australian batting overall was a little bit below par, but it was captain Tim Paine who kind of pulled them out of the woods. If we saw a captain's knock yesterday from Virat Kohli, we saw another one today from Tim Paine. Tim Paine for me is the perfect example of a sports person. You know, somebody who will be a great ambassador for the game, somebody who kids will be inspired by. And I have been really impressed by Tim Paine ever since he came in during that entire period of strife for the Australian cricket team. He has been criticized as not being worthy of a captain. He has been criticized for not being Test match material from a batting standpoint, but he has maintained his dignity in the face of all this criticism and quietly kept working on his game, and that was evident today. Tim Paine has improved his batting significantly over the last 12 to 18 months, and that was on ample display today. He was the most comfortable batsman on this difficult wicket from both the sides. I'd also like to mention Umesh Yadav here. You know, when you're the third seamer in a team, it's a very difficult job to do, because if the first two seamers have taken wickets, you need to be coming into the role and adding to that wickets tally for the team. If the first two bowlers haven't bowled well, you've got to come in and steady the ship. So I thought Umesh Yadav had a fantastic day today, and he got Labuschagne with an absolute beauty, which just kind of darted back into him at pace. Yes, the ball did stay a little bit low, but I think Umesh Yadav deserves credit for holding one end up during that crucial time when the pink ball isn't doing a lot, and what we reckon is a batsman's kind of period during the entire day. I thought Umesh Yadav did a fantastic job for India, and he and Ashwin bowled well in a partnership. And I think Umesh Yadav is another guy I would back to do a crucial job for India in the fourth innings, because I think the way the wicket is playing, I think it will start keeping a bit lower and lower as the game progresses. And Umesh Yadav bowls a wicket to wicket line. He'll bowl with a 5-4 field with 4 guys on the leg side, including a short mid wicket, a square leg, a fine leg, and a mid on. Probably even might think of getting a 5th guy on the leg side, and he will bowl wicket to wicket. If the ball keeps low, or if it darts back in and the batsman misses it, you have no hope at all as a batsman. You'll be walking to the pavilion. So I think Umesh Yadav has a critical role to play for India in the fourth innings. Let's talk about the pitch a little bit. This has been a very unlike an Adelaide Oval kind of pitch. Adelaide Oval has traditionally been a batting oriented pitch. They say that Adelaide is probably the best batting wicket in Australia. But this pitch is different. Now I don't know if it's the pitch or if it's the impact of the pink ball on the surface, but certainly this is not a pitch on which batting can be enjoyed by a batsman, because you cannot trust the bounce and you cannot trust the pace. Now as a batsman, when you can't trust either of these factors, then your only preoccupation in your head is that you've got to survive. And I think when as a batsman, when you're trying to survive, your natural instinct doesn't come out, and at some stage you will lose concentration and you will try to do something against the run of play, and you'll have to kind of pay the price. Day 3 is a very big day for the Indian batting lineup. But out of all the heralded names in the batting lineup, I'd like to focus on Mayank Agrawal a little bit. I think tomorrow is an important day in the development of Mayank Agrawal as an international batsman. These are the moments of responsibility which have to be taken, where you make a name for yourself. So tomorrow I'm putting my money on Mayank, because I feel he will be the cog around which the rest of the Indian batting lineup kind of revolves, and he will play a role in getting India to a position of safety, which according to me should be 270 plus runs on the board for Australia to chase in the last innings. A little bit of a word on Prithvi Shaw. As we discussed yesterday, he has a couple of technical deficiencies, and that was exploited. Those two deficiencies were exploited by Cummins yet again. Prithvi Shaw has been the subject of all the conversations around this test match. To start this test match, or before the start of this test match, there was conjecture and more on whether he should be playing in the playing 11 at all. Now with these twin failures, all that discussion has heated up even more. I think the Indian team management will probably see that he's not playing in any kind of form, and will look to replace him with Shubman Gill from the next test match. I'm now going to reply to a few questions which are asked on the Ask Jatin hashtag. The first one is from MGR. MGR, thanks for writing to me. Your question is around Ravi Shastri's position as head coach. I think the BCCI will take a little bit of a long-term view on this. I honestly feel that India will not suffer a heavy defeat in this series. I feel we are in a good position in this test match, and we'll continue to kind of match up to Australia all throughout this series, if not beat them. But overall, I feel that Ravi Shastri has been fantastic for a lot of the younger players. Over the last 4 or 5 years of his term, I've had the opportunity of working with him as a national team selector, and I've seen at first hand the kind of positive impact he's had on the team. So to answer your question, I think the BCCI will take a longer term view on his position. Hey Sahil, thanks for your question. It's about if that horrendous run out between Ajinkya Rahane and Virat Kohli would have an impact on Rahane during the rest of the series, especially that he's captain for the next 3 test matches. I don't think so. I think these guys are professional cricketers. They are experienced cricketers as well. And Virat and Ajinkya have played together for many years now. There's a lot of mutual respect between them. So I think it will just be considered as one of those things which happen on the cricket field, and they will leave it at that. I think Ajinkya is also tremendously strong mentally. So he will kind of know that these things happen and will look to the future with all the positivity. Thanks Amay for your question. It's about why haven't our tail enders improved their batting over the years. No, you make a really good point. One of the challenges which this Indian team faces is that our batsmen don't bowl and our bowlers don't bat. So let's focus on the latter, that our bowlers don't bat. I have seen them. I was a national selector for the last 4 years. I've seen them, all the tail enders, Bumrah, Shami, Khalil or Mohammad Siraj or Umesh Yadav. They spend a lot of time in the nets working on their batting. I think you are seeing glimpses of some improvement now. Bumrah today has come in as a night watchman, because obviously the team has faith in him after that half century which he got in the warm-up game as well. So I think you're seeing flickerings of improvement, but overall you're right. The 8, 9, 10, 11 probably need to improve their batting in terms of their numbers. I think you are seeing improvement from a technique perspective, but the proof of the pudding for a batsman is in the number of runs you score. So there's definitely an area of improvement, but I think you're seeing the start of a upward curve on that one. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. Leave your thoughts in the comments section and do subscribe to Khelomor's YouTube channel.